What up guys, CD here again. Just wanted to come back. This is going to be a demonstration of how to I made a screenshot. I sent some screenshots into LinkedIn about how I configured a Radius server and but in this case I'm going to be going through how I configure the Radius server and then how I'll be configuring the entire infrastructure through the admin PC here in the IT department. Following how it would go in, like for example, like a school setting or something like that during some holiday. Sorry, I completely forgot to add in these. Let's just add those in as well. We can just use the auto one because we don't really care about the positioning of the wires, because all interfaces from the switches outside of the IT department, the IPs, as you can see, will be given to them by the DHCP server. So let's first get over, doing the service pool and that kind of stuff. Server pools. So what we're going to do is, if you remember from my previous video, yes, we should turn on the service. Now we save this one, and then we're going to add in a new one. So we're going to start with sales, and if we look here, listed down as 192.168.5.0. so the default gear will be 192.168.5.1. there's no DNS server, so for now it's just 192, then 168, then 5, and then we'll start it from 10. We don't really care about the amount of users that we're going to have for this one, so we'll just do 255, 255, 255. So we'll put this as, let's just put it as 200. Put it as 200. Add, and then luckily get to keep it. So we'll just do the final is the dev department. In this case, we are supposedly a software company. Yeah, let's do that. So the other one, as you can see, is have a 10 out of a 5, so we're just gonna switch everything like that. And then, oh god, sorry, did I put the 4 gateways? Sorry, that should be 0. And then we'll put that to 200. Yeah, sorry, I make mistakes. So now we're gonna go back to dev. Then I'm going to change this to 5, from 5 to 10, and then again here as well 10, and then we're just going to add. So now we have dev, sales, and then the original one, just in case what, who knows. And from here we are going to go to the Radius server. Sorry, no, actually we're gonna configure all the IP addresses for everything, and then because I'm gonna put in the description where I start configuring the Radius server, so I'll put a timestamp in the description so you can just skip right to that if that's what you want to look at primarily. Well, that's what the video is about. I don't know what I'm talking about. So we'll go config fast Ethernet, and then 192.168.0.2. This will be .2 because I always like the DHCP server. It's something I can remember. Fast Ethernet. This will be free, so it's a 0.3. And then same. So, oh god. See, this always happens on my app. I have a strong feeling it's going to happen again. So 192.168.0.5. And now let's go. Okay, so from starting now, as I said, put in the description starting about now is when I start configuring the Radius server. So we're going to go to services, AAA, turn it on, make sure Radius port right there. The client will be the router, because what we're going to be doing is configuring the router through there. What we want to have authentication, it has to be required so that the other departments can't do it, just in case. So in this situation, only the IT department knows about password, router, and password. So I'll demonstrate how the telnet, you can't access it unless you actually have the password, username and password. So in this one, the router is called router 0. The IP address for this one will be the IP address of the default gateway, which we'll be setting in a bit. Okay, so it's 192.168.0.1, and the secret will be Cisco. You can change it to anything really, but let's just put it as the password will be Cisco. Or we can change it to root. Let's have it as root. Or does Cisco have all the things? We'll just have it as root. And then we'll do the username will be admin. And now, if anyone has taken the Security Plus, you will know that for system hardening, we have to change the default passwords that we get, default usernames and passwords, because that is exposing another attack surface that attackers will try and, use. So this is a lab, so it doesn't matter. I will be doing a firewall, one to show in the future. I wanna try and do that. But yeah, okay, so let's just check everything. Service is on, router 0 is all good and all set up. Username, password is all set up. Okay, now we can close this. And for this part, we do have to configure it from the command line from the router. So we'll go here. Nope. Again, and remember, we try and use shorthand for everything, so just N. Sorry. Yeah, let's just close this. We'll open it again. No, guess we won't. So I'm gonna pause this, and then when it resolves, sorry. Okay, back again. So we'll go EN, and this time we will not do the bracket that I did last time. So EN, and then we'll do conf T, and then we'll do int G. As you can see, this one's G0/0. And then we're just going to add in the IP address 192.168.0.1. Always forget subnet mask. 255.255. No space. 255. I'm rushing, and this is what happens when I rush. So there we go. And that's set up. Now, what we've got to do is actually configure the service so the router knows that when anyone tries to use they're not using SSH, but they're using telnet. In this case, if anyone tries doing that, they will require to go through the radius server here. So what we're going to do is, as I said, I'm also going to post the commands into the description as well. So in case I make spelling mistakes or I'm rushing and all that kind of stuff, I will annotate it as well, like I said. Yeah. Okay, so first let's start with AAA, the new model. So just say, we're going to be going through it like this. Okay, then radius server host, the IP address of the radius server, which is 192.168.0.3. There we go. And then we're going to put in the key, which is the password that we configured, ours is root. Okay, and then we're going to do AAA authentication, login. I'm using the cheat sheet for all of this, so yeah, and this is going to be the name of the server, so capital AAA, because our one's AAA radius, we just need to put AAA. That's cool. Then group, take off the caps, and then radius. And now, just so we can actually configure the last bit, line v2, vt, y, 0 and 4, and then finally login authentication. And this is also again going back to the name of our server. So we're going to do capital AA, and there we have it. But this is a key point. Do not forget to do this part. So we're going to exit. So back to the global configuration part of the router. Now we actually have to do it. Make sure it accepts. So what was it? It was enable secret then root. Cool. Let's hope this works. And then end do right. Oh, sorry. Conf. And then do. Now we can end it again. Okay. Let's close this. And now, silly me as well, forgot to actually, sorry, T interface P0 10 no shut. Okay. Now we're going to fast forward a bit. So everything's green, awesome. And now we're going to try and telnet into it. Command prompt. Since everything's green, we'll just telnet straight away. Telnet 192.168.0.1. Okay, so it's going to ask for the password. Remember, our password was admin. So admin for username, admin for password. So admin. Kill a bit of time. Just gonna press that again. Okay, and now if you remember, we set the password in the router as well. So we're now going to be requested to use the password again. So we'll do enable. And it's going to ask for the password, which was root. And there we go. So let's do conf t configuration mode. And now, remember, we're going to start configuring everything else from our admin PC. Okay? And this is just going to be like the same thing that we did in the DHCP server video. So just conf t. Now we're going to go into interface 0.1, and that's going to be for our sales department. If you remember, right there, our interface would be, our default gateway should be 192.168.5.1. So then our subnet mask will be 255.255.255.0. Okay, and if you remember correctly, that we have to do IP helper address, and I'll do the rest for us, and then we'll just link it back to our DHCP server, which was 2. Then we're going to do no shut. Then we're going to exit that one, and we're just going to do the same thing again for, so G0.2, sorry. Then we're going to do IP add, and it's going to be our one for this one is going to be 10. So it's going to be 192.168.10.1 255.255.255.0, and then it's going to be the same thing again, IP helper. So 68.0.2, then no shut, exit, then do. There we go. And hopefully we're going to do some checks. So hopefully we would have successfully configured everything from the admin PC, which simulates what IT technician would be doing in, for example, at least that's some of the jobs that the IT department in the school that I currently work for does. So let's actually check. Hopefully this works. Let's go to dev 1 and ask it to, actually let's fast forward a bit. Fast forward a bit, and then we'll go config, fast Ethernet, and hopefully, if it doesn't work, remember we have to turn it back to static and turn it back to there. So you see we've got the pip address, so we're going to turn it back to static and then try one more time. And if it doesn't work, we can go to another one network as well. That's sometimes, yeah, so just keep it like that for a second. Anyway, we can also start trying with the sales department, because I'm pretty sure I did it correctly there, and I hope I actually did it correctly and I didn't make a mistake. So it seems that the dev department does not want to work, so let's just try the sales department. And I'm really hoping because it's taken, they're all taken. Okay, so I'll be back, because as I said, I don't want this to be too long. So I'll be back, I'll troubleshoot and then get back to you guys. I know I should be showing you, but yeah. So if you guys remember correctly, I said I was going to set everything after for the IT department manually. I don't think I set everything afterwards, did I? So, yep, see, default gateway was never set. So, if you guys have caught that and you're face palming, I am so sorry. Oh, sorry. Let's do that again. But as we said, this is a learning channel. You know, everything we do, we're trying to learn, we're trying to build ourselves up. So, for the radius as well, let's also 168.0.1. Then again for this one. Okay, let's have one pause for a bit. I'll try. Yep. See, it was really just that. I'm so sorry, guys. Yeah. So. I know I don't have to do it all of them, but let's just turn them all so they're all on DHCP server. And, you know, and then let's pretend that the sales department got, like, someone tried logging in. So let's try telnet 192.168. For them it would be 10 dot sorry, it'd be 5.1. And then if you remember correctly, the client's only been configured to 0.1. Well, let's check. I've actually never tried to check it myself, so I'm quite curious to see what would happen if I use the password that's configured to 0.1. So remember, this is telnetting 5.1 for the thingy. So let's do admin. Well, it lets you go in. So I guess it's any, you know. But then they need the password for the router, which I assume only in this case, the IT department wouldn't give them the admin password for the actual Telnet server anyway. But yeah, so as you can see, everything's working. And sorry for the little hiccup. We've run over like quite some time. I wanted to like keep this to a minimum of 15 minutes at maximum. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope it was informative, and thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. I'll catch you next week. Okay.